nervous to talk to all of you as I was last week. I actually had the honor of introducing Gary Sinise in front of 2,400 people using a speech that was up on teleprompters. So this is going to be a whiz. Okay, sorry. All right. I'm going to talk a little bit about oral and written communications within an office. Offices, our office, we've got 5 incoming phone lines, we've got a fax machine, we've got people that are calling on the phone from the shops. Many, many, many interruptions. In the course of a single day, I literally counted one day, I had 52 interruptions before noon. And I got to the point where I had a bell on my desk, and every time somebody would come in, I'd hit that bell and somebody else would shout out the number. So interruptions are very, very common. So you have to, as you take these new jobs, try to focus your energies, try to determine what your employer wants you to do as far as what is the priority for that particular job. That's something that they'll try to communicate to you. If you don't understand what is more important, then make sure that you ask. It's very, very important that as you start your day and you're there timely and you're prepared to do your work, that you understand what is the premium importance and what you might be able to push off later in the day. Listen to how people introduce themselves to you. You'll be introduced many times. Once we bring in our interns, we take them around, we introduce them to the people in the office, and then we introduce them to the foreman out in the shop. Listen to how people introduce themselves or how they're introduced. If somebody is introduced as Robert, don't take the liberty of calling them Bob. Just like I don't like when people take the liberty of calling me Barb when I've introduced myself as Barbara and I sign my emails as Barbara. So that's something that, I remember, and employers will remember if you use their name correctly. Also, when communicating via email, it is, I see many emails come over. A lot of people use like real brief sentences. They don't use punctuation. They don't, they don't use proper grammar. They don't use proper nouns. It makes things very, very difficult. One of the things that you have to remember too is when you're emailing, that is, you should not take the liberty of using texting abbreviations like TTYL, which stands for talk to you later, or or THX, which is thanks, or WTF, which I have heard is why the face, not what you guys were thinking. I have on very good authority, it means why the face. So. And always use your spell check too. When you if you're sending out an email to somebody, use that spell check function. It's not perfect. I'll give you an example. We had a gal in our office and I had her working on setting up different distribution territories by state. And so she was sending these out and she insisted she used her spell check. Well, unfortunately, she spelled Rhode Island, R-O-A-D, and the spell check did not catch that because R-O-A-D is an actual word. But so make sure you read through your emails before you send them out too. Let's see, what else did I want to talk with you about? During your internship, you will probably be given an opportunity, like an interview when you come in the first day, and you'll be given possibly safety training, you'll be given instruction, maybe you'll be given a safety handbook. Make sure you read that. What the company is trying to do there is convey their priorities to you. If safety is a priority, if addressing people properly, if the chain of command is important in the facility, those things are all very important. So if they give you a handbook, make sure you take the time to look through it and that you understand what they're trying to tell you there. And be open to communicating honestly about your experience. What we try to do with our interns is we do that entrance interview, but then I also do an exit interview. So then I talk with them a little bit when they're getting ready to leave those last few days and find out what they liked about the job, what they didn't like about it. One of our interns came up with a great idea. He said, the first few days I was here, you people kept referring to things as blanks and rip line, and I didn't have a clue what you were talking about. And he said maybe you could do a list of terminology that you use specific to your industry, and it would really help on those first few days until I start learning some things. And that's an excellent idea, and that's something that we do now. I learned firsthand myself how terrible that can be. I took a position on a board of directors at a credit union, and the very first day I was there, and there's all these people around the table, and I was nervous as heck, and they kept saying, okay, turn to the page with the HELOCs, and turn to the page with the SARs, and I'm like, I didn't know what these abbreviations stood for, and by the time I finally got to the right page, they were making a motion to accept the report, and I hadn't even looked at it yet. So I understand, we all have our own lingo, so, if you don't understand what people are talking about, ask them if they have a cheat sheet like that. It might be really nice to help you get through that first week. Every year, I can honestly say we learn a little something from our interns. And when you come in, how you dress, how you arrive on time, how you present yourself, we learn a lot about you, about your families, about your priorities, and about your education, where you've been schooled and how you've been schooled. How you appear really conveys a message. So make sure that message that you're conveying is that you want to be there. Even if you didn't get your first selection, your first choice, I would have liked to go into Geauga Hospital too, but there's only so many positions out there. But really, truthfully, make the most of this opportunity, because these employers have taken a tremendous amount of time to think through putting you in positions where they feel you'll get the greatest experience for the summer. Understand, talk to other employees, ask about how the companies find their customers, how do they market their goods, how do they market their services. Communicate to others that you're focused on being a part of their team, even if it's only for a very short period of time. Thank you.